Mialta Night Court. Oh, if you're not at Night Court, you're in the wrong place. Don't mind me. I'd like to welcome you out to the Planning Commission, September 26, 2023. Roll call, please.
Chairman Cox,
Here.
Vice Chairman Ferris,
Here.
and Commissioner Mondragon.
Here.
3 present. We have a quorum.
We're starting exactly at 6 o'clock. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
So move. I'll second.
Thank you.
Chairman Cox,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mondragon.
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Chairman Cox,
Aye.
Commissioner Ferris,
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon.
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Moving into the public comment section of our agenda, persons wishing to address the commission on matters that are within the commission's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Planning Commission may not take action on an item that does not appear on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. The public comment section of the agenda is limited to an hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name. Do I have anybody on the phone or in the gallery here? Seeing none, we will close the public comment section at 6:02, and we'll open the public hearing at 6:02. An abatement of 325 North Gold Canyon Street pursuant the Ridgecrest Municipal Code 11-4 APN 396-09032. Property owner D. Guevara. Staff report.
Okay, this is the property owner.
Pull a mic over to you,
Oh,
please.
sorry. As stated, this is in regards to 325 North Gold Canyon Drive. Property owner is Ms. Deborah Guevara, 1353 Pinto Street, Ridgecrest. The RMC violation involved is 11-13A, which is accumulation of debris, junk, garbage, or refuse. As background, there have been 2 previous cases at this address involving the violation of the accumulation of trash, junk, debris, and refuse. The first case was 15-4567, opened December 10, 2015, with 1 citation issued. The second case was 16-3807, opened October 26, 2016, with 5 citations issued. This case was subsequently closed after a notice of pre-abatement public hearing was to take place to abate the property and the violations cleared by the property owner before the meeting. On June 1st, 2023, the current case, 23-779, was initiated. A citation was immediately issued due to the past cases in which the property owner and her son knew the yard was to be kept free of trash, junk, debris, and refuse, as well as receiving a letter from me on March 27, 2017, advising that if there are future violations occurred, it will result in her receiving another citation without warning. Initially, the yard was cleaned and the case closed. However, on June 22, 2023, I re-inspected the property and more trash, junk, and debris were in the front yard. Since that date, 4 more citations have been issued to both the son, Seth Warren Kaga, and the property owner. Since citations to Seth Kaga obviously had no effect on correcting the violation, A letter was mailed to the property owner advising her that as she was the property owner, she was ultimately responsible for the violation and was cited August 14, 2023. The citation was sent certified mail and received on August 18, 2023 by her. On August 24, 2023, the notice of pre-abatement public hearing to abate property letter was mailed to the property owner. This letter advised that she had 30 days to correct the violations, or the case would be presented to the Planning Commission on Tuesday, September 26th. In each of these three cases, property owner claimed that it was her son that caused the issue and that he should receive the citations. However, a few were issued to her as well. A check at the Kern County property tax site revealed all property taxes have been paid in full to date. On August 29, 2023, I received a call from La Mirage Condos advising the occupants at this property were placing trash, junk, and debris behind the house on property belonging to La Mirage. I inspected the area and verified the complaints. This same date, I sent another letter to the property owner advising the back area of her property, which belongs to La Mirage, will be included in the Planning Commission presentation, and all trash, junk, and debris must be removed. Order of abatement to be conducted by the property owner, that the abatement to occur includes the removal of all trash, junk, debris, and refuse to include the Coke machine in the driveway, all items around and under the RV, from the driveway and front yard of her property, and that the trash, junk, and debris on La Mirage property behind her property. The abatement to be completed or notification obtained by the code enforcement officer that the services of a contractor have been obtained and verified to do the abatement no later than October 10th, 2023.
Questions from commissioners?
Nothing for me.
Anybody in the audience that wishes to address us on this matter? I do. Come right up here to this mic, please.
At the podium
No,
there.
at the podium there.
Hello. My name is Ivan Chirinos, and I'm the co-manager over at La Mirage Condos. Fred and I have been in contact throughout the years regarding the property in question here, and their trash, they went ahead and they did make an attempt back a few years ago, but it's back to what it is. I actually have some pictures on my phone that I took earlier, I think it was yesterday, as well as on Friday, and they've had tents back there, so there's homeless people actually staying there as well. They bring the tent up, they take it down. In one of my pictures, I have one of the people sleeping right there on the couch. She says she's been there for a good month and stuff. That's where she goes and she sleeps. The trash is getting out of hand, and we just need something to be done where, you know, maybe somebody come and bulldoze that stuff out of there. But anyways, that's all that I had to say.
Thank you. Fred, is anybody living in the home right now?
Yes, her son Seth Kaga, and I think his girlfriend.
Okay. Have we been in the home? Is it livable? Is it, it's not a health hazard or anything?
They haven't ever allowed us in.
Okay. And I see the multiple citations. Any response to the citations, or basically just ignoring you?
Pretty much ignoring them. I don't believe any have ever been paid.
Okay, so interesting enough, Mom wants to blame it on the son, but yeah, she's a responsible party. I see that the taxes have been paid, and I see that it does violate the RMJ. I have no problem personally. So I would recommend that we abate this property. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Chairman Cox,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris,
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon,
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
Okay, moving on, abatement 433 North Fairview Street pursuant to RMC 11-4 APN 067-113-02. Property owner J. Angie Engel. Okay, staff report.
So the property has this been changed? Do we have this?
Point it at the screen or point it back there? Okay.
It's still Gold Canyon. We have,
It's on there.
it's a,
You're going the wrong way.
Other direction.
oh, okay, this way. Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so this property is 433 North Fairview, currently in violation of RMC Code 11-1, letter B, lack of sound and effective exterior walls or roof coverings to provide weather protection, and 11-1-3, letter A, accumulation of junk, debris, and garbage and/or refuse. So the situation with this one is the property owner passed away back in October of 2013. No real issues up to that point. After that, not a whole lot went on until about March of 2018. Between 2018 March and June of this year, we had over 50 calls to service for either police, code enforcement, or animal control due to people who were essentially squatting at the house. March 2018 is when the one individual who was kind of the consistent during that period of time first shows up at that address. But then there's a bunch of other ones just kind of come and go. A lot of those complaints that we were dealing with, we weren't able to really address all that well because they had power and water turned on, so we couldn't red tag the house because of that lack of service. And when we had a code violation, let's say there were some items in the front yard, like that TV was just there, I would just go knock on the door, they'd answer the door, yep, no problem, they'd take care of it, get it out of the front yard. Or there was a situation where there was stuff in the alleyway behind the house. Knock on the door, no problem. Later that day, everything's gone. The neighbor, one of the neighbors in the neighborhood, had told me the backyard was really in bad shape, but the backyard fence has security or the privacy stuff that go through it, so you can't really see it. And we're not allowed to, we're lift over and look over the fence and whatnot. But in July 19th of this year, the lady who was the constant squatter, through meeting me this year, she called me and said, hey, this house is no longer livable. I can't live here. And I guess there was some sort of benefit that if I were to red tag it, she would then be available or eligible for some sort of assistance. So she allowed me inside the house. That's when I viewed the hole in the ceiling that went up to the roof, and also gave me access to the backyard, which, as you saw in the photos, is pretty amazing. So I can totally see why the neighbors have been having an issue with rodents and insects bleeding off over into their properties as well. So the property was red tagged on July 20th. We have sent out the pre-abatement letters and whatnot to who we see as the next of kin, which was a son. But the address that we had for him was an APO address, and everything we've sent to that address has been returned. Check with the Kern County Tax Office. The taxes haven't been paid since March 31st of 2015. Current balance is almost $14,000. And we believe at this point, barring any sort of mass, like someone's want to walk in and say, we'll take care of it right now, this property is actually a real actual hazard to safety of the people in that neighborhood right now. Any questions?
I have one, Commissioners.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you consider this a hazard and you're abating it, are you abating the junk or are you doing a demolition of the house?
What we're asking for at this time right now is just the ceiling of the house, making it not to where it's not accessible. Weatherize maybe the roof to make it to where water can't continue to go in there, but that's secondary to the backyard trash. What you could see in those pictures only paints part of the story, because there's an outbuilding back there that doesn't have a door, or it's wide open either way, and that building is full of stuff. I do not recommend just closing that up. I recommend
Cleaning
taking
it out.
anything and everything that's in the yard out, and then sealing the building up. But at this point, I don't see tearing it down to the slab at this point.
Well, even if you get rid of the junk, you'd have to seal up that outbuilding because squatters will come in and use that outbuilding because it has a roof, especially with winter coming on.
Correct.
Mr. Engel, do you have something that you'd like to share with us? Oh.
Not Mr. Engel, no, he passed away.
Yeah, I knew Harold and Jeannie.
My neighbors. We loved them to death, trust me, they were great. My name is David Moore, I live at 429 North Fairview Street, next door. There are currently rodents, rats, that big, going into the attic. There is currently a squatter that lives inside of that building right now, inside the house. They come and go in the middle of the night. The door is open, the lights are on, the water I'm not sure works or not. But I can see the gate open and close, and it's not a ghost that's doing that. So there is somebody in that house at this time. And I don't know who it is, but there are rats in that ceiling. I have pictures to prove that. And they are going in and out all the time. So I'm having to spray my yard to keep them out of my yard and just clean up every day from the rodent stuff that's all over the place. And quite frankly, I have a jacuzzi in the backyard. I haven't used it in years because of this. And the person that lived there before was a squatter, should be held responsible regardless, because I reported this thing, I forgot when, a couple of years ago, I guess. I don't remember. But I reported this. And they knew that there was a squatter living there. And that person should be held responsible for what happened to that house. Because they're the ones who caused it by moving people in and out. They even had other people living in the backyard at the time. So that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other question for staff?
So there was never any contact made with the property owner, is that correct?
Well, the
We don't
property
know.
owner's deceased. There's no,
Okay.
no contact made with next of kin.
Okay, and there's no, that's not financed or anything like that? Bank doesn't own
From what I can see, it was owned outright by the
outright by the,
previous
Okay.
residents.
no next of kin? Okay.
Not that we're.
Yeah, my
able to-
understanding was it was left to the girls, but I don't know what happened to the girls because neither one of them lived here at the time.
Jolinda lives up north someplace. I think we could probably dig up her last name. But she actually tried to take it to probate and couldn't get her siblings to sign off on giving her the property.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a.
So it became an internal fight over the property. So they just ignored it for 8 years, and now there's big taxes and so on and so forth. So here's my only other thing is after hearing the neighbor's report, this concerns me. We've got a health hazard as well. So I don't know if cleaning it up will actually solve the problem because we don't want to leave a health hazard either. And so I'm not sure what to do with that, but I would recommend that we abate the property at 433 North Fairview. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris,
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon,
Aye.
3 ayes, motion carries.
It may need to come back as a health hazard too. in the
Yeah, once
future.
it's cleaned up,
Once.
let's take a look at it and let's make sure it's not a health hazard because I don't want this affecting the neighbors. Because it is vacant. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, Commissioner comments or reports. Committee reports at all?
Mine were on the first part of the month, and were
Okay.
canceled because of the holiday, so.
So any staff reports? What time's the party?
So I did, briefly, I'll just tell you guys, I went to the California Planning Conference. That was in Fresno. It was really great. Fresno was very nice. The downtown is beautiful and very clean. They have no squatters in their downtown. Yes, I see your look. I thought the same thing. No, it's beautiful. If you're ever in need of going that direction, you might be pleasantly surprised. I was. And also, of course, your guys' favorites, lots of code amendments to come your way. So you're welcome.
And you did a walkthrough where today?
Oh, Mojave View. So Mojave View, we did their final walkthrough. As far as planning, they're fine. They do have a couple of items to work on, and they'll have their occupancy next week, so they'll be ready to go.
Okay. And they're looking for CO when?
I believe Monday.
Okay. All right. Any other items, commissioners? If not, I move that we adjourn at 6:21.